So today I will talk to you about the blockchain, the sharing economy. How many of you know what the blockchain is? Well, you understand the blockchain? Few of them. How many of you own Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency? Just very few. Okay, so let's go back to the basic to understand what the blockchain is, right? Let's think, what is the internet? The internet is an open protocol which allows people to connect each other. We forget this because what the internet is today, the internet of corporations, does much more than that, okay? But for any of these services, Facebook, Google, Amazon, or Airbnb, we need companies behind, okay? While for the things before, we don't need companies behind. This is very important. Now, what does the internet actually does? It does cheap and fast data transmission. That's all it does. It does one thing well, and it changed the world very much, okay? Now, what it doesn't do yet is reputation, payments, and governance. We need companies to take care of reputation. We need eBay, we need Airbnb. We need Visa and banks to take care of payments, all right? And we need companies to take decisions. On the internet, we're very good in discussing things. We're very bad in taking decisions and implementing them, right? So the result is that all these peer-to-peer things we heard about, they're not actually peer-to-peer. They are peer to corporation, to corporation, to corporation, to peer. So when I book through Airbnb, I'm booking through Airbnb, which is a corporation, a payment service used by Airbnb, Visa, and a few banks in the middle. And each one of these companies, each one of these corporations takes a little bit of money out of the flow. Now, what the blockchain is, and it took me 2 years in explaining blockchain to understanding myself, blockchain is simply an internet upgrade. It's the internet which can do not more one thing, it can do 4 things. It can do reputation. Like, we don't need eBay anymore to believe our review is true, because it's on the blockchain, it's on the internet. We won't need any bank in the middle. We can pay straight, peer-to-peer, everywhere in the world without anybody involved. And we can even get to the point where we can decide things by ourselves as a network, and we can enforce those decisions. This is very bad news for any corporation which is running. Let's talk about Airbnb, which is the closest to us, or Booking.com, because in a few years we won't need them anymore. I know it's a very heavy statement to do, to say that we can have Airbnb or Booking, the platform, without the company behind. It is very heavy, I know, but I don't do this lightly. And we have been through this before with telecommunications. There was a time when calling abroad was very expensive. I had friends in Australia when I was traveling. They were putting the dollar in the phone booth, and then with the straw, take the dollar out and call for free, right? Just reminds me how expensive it was to call home. Today we can call for free everywhere with WhatsApp, for instance. What happened? Was it the telecoms who said, okay, we're charging too much, let's make it free? No. An open technology came, which was called the internet, right? And on top of the internet, we had voice over IP. And then one company, Skype, decided to make this protocol for free. And Skype wasn't a company really, it was just a protocol. So we have seen this happening before, and this is going to happen again. The problem is that we don't know when. Now, this is the depressing part of the speech, but I have to go through this, because when I heard this the first time a couple of months ago, I wanted to forget it, but it just got stuck in my mind, right? So, it's called digital feudalism. It's not my invention. There's many people who are seeing the situation today on the internet as feudalism. Let's see what feudalism is, right? There were the kings, all right? The kings had the gold and the land. And they were giving pieces of land to the lords. But the owners of the land was still the king. And the lords, they were giving the land to work to the serfs. And they were telling the serfs, you work the land and you give me a little bit of it, right? That was great, it worked. The thing is, being a serf wasn't nice, because like, if your young son was looking at the princess in the wrong way, maybe you would lose your son, you would lose the land. We had no rights. There was no piece of paper saying these lands belong to you. You were just a serf. And as long as things were doing well, you would live. As soon as you made a mistake, you were out of your land. You can die, who cares? That was feudalism. Then we decided to make an upgrade to our society and say, okay, what about rule of law? What about I give you a piece of land and there's a piece of paper which says it's yours? Today, Boris Johnson cannot walk into this room and say, get out. There are laws, right? That's what we are today. We are in the rule of law society. But the internet, which is like 25 years old, it's still in the digital feudalism. It's still a feudalistic state. And I prove it to you because investors are the kings. They have the money, right? They give it to entrepreneurs. So if you're a startup and you get a few millions, you are upgraded to being an entrepreneur. You are a lord. Okay, you work for the king. And then the users are the serfs. If you are an Airbnb host, you are a serf because tomorrow morning you can get an email from Airbnb and say, we have suspended your account, all right? And you can't say anything. This is happening. It's happened like a few weeks ago in Italy. This guy had 1,000 reviews. He got the email from Airbnb and said, your account is suspended. He said, what happened? Well, a guest complained about privacy. What guest? We cannot tell you because of the privacy. What can you say on your defense? Nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, your account is suspended. Your bookings are canceled. Your listing is canceled. You have lost all your reviews. Don't ask us why. Don't come back to us. You're going to get the same answer. Have you heard about these things happening? Or it's just me? It's happening. So this, I'm not saying this is dangerous. If you're a host, there's not really a high risk this happens. But the fact that this can happen proves that we are not in the rule of law. So that's the depressing part. How do we get out of this? First of all, are we, everybody's really happy right now in this industry. I've been in this industry since 2001. I've never seen such an amount of activity and money getting in. Everybody's so happy. There's so much money getting in. Are we really thinking what's happening here? Aren't we building our industry on sand? I don't know if it's built on sand, but everything is on the top of the OTAs, okay? So if it's not on sand, it's sure not really firm ground. How do we get out of it? We get out of it by doing the same transition we made in the real world on the internet. We go with the rule of law. And we cannot wait for our politicians to solve this problem. They are 10 or 20 years behind, right? We solve it ourselves. And we solve it with what we call smart contracts. I'll give you an example. If you upload a listing in our protocol, in our blockchain, this listing goes on the internet. We cannot cancel it. We are just like, let's say, Airbnb, right? But you upload your listing, it goes on the internet. We don't have any control about it. Then you get a booking. And then you get a review. This review is distributed on the internet. We cannot touch it. So if you get to have 1,000 reviews, then you have an asset. And this asset is defended by the rule of law. And then this asset is like a real law. You can sell it, a real asset. You can sell it. You can't sell your Airbnb reviews. You can try to sell your Airbnb listing, but maybe tomorrow morning it's going to be closed because this was not an approved sale. So thanks to the blockchain, so thanks to the internet being upgraded, we can make a very important transition and get back control to what we're doing. That's the bad news again. Where do we stand with the blockchain? We stand about at the same level as where we're standing when we were on the internet with this sound. Who remembers this sound? All right, brings back memories. But the internet was very slow and very expensive, right? But Booking.com started at that time, and it took them a few years. They had to wait for the internet to upgrade to broadband to become really big. That's where we stand today in the blockchain. So if you do something in the blockchain today, it's really early, but it's a really good opportunity to do something new before everybody else. 2008, very important year for us. Airbnb was born. And the same year, the Airbnb killer technology was born. Bitcoin with the blockchain, okay? A few years later, Ethereum, it's a fork. It's like an alternative to Airbnb, to Bitcoin, which does smart contracts. It took 6 years. 3 years ago, I had the idea to do an open Airbnb. And we are still not ready. Now, how serious is that? I want to present you this company. This is called Origin Protocol. They are from Silicon Valley. These are all former engineers of PayPal, YouTube, Google, Dropbox, and so on. The guy on the left is a co-founder of PayPal. He was there before Elon Musk. He's working on Origin Protocol, and they're working on open software for blockchain protocols for the sharing economy. On the right, Steve Chen. one of the founders of YouTube, and he's talking about the Origin Protocol team. They raised $38 million a couple of years ago. I'm showing you this slide just to tell you this is serious stuff. You haven't heard about it. When you hear about Bitcoin, you hear about price and speculation. There's real work being done by the very people who made the internet as we know it today. Now, they're doing the protocols, open protocols for the sharing economy, and we are helping them for the vacation rental space. So we are working to bring you, and to bring to all of us, open software, like a new internet, just to do booking portals in our case, right? It's 100% open source. If I drop that now, the code is still there and you can get it. If this guy is closed tomorrow, you can get the code and go ahead. If you like what we're doing and you want to do it slightly different, you get the code and you do your own version. It's completely open. Collaboration is completely open. You want to translate one of these apps in your language, you just get in and you translate it. You want to help us build this thing, you get in. You do it for a month, you get out. Completely open. There's no contracts. It's like open source development of corporations. I show you the app. It's in beta level. You can download it. It's working, but it's very, very basic at the moment. So there's apartments, there's bicycles, there's Amazon cars, there's many things. We have apartments here. You can actually do bookings. And you can today pay only with cryptocurrency. In a few months, you will be able to pay your credit cards. The magic thing here, if you book with a cryptocurrency, you are booking without any bank involved, without any company involved, without us involved. You're sending money to a smart contract, and money gets stuck there. And then when you go to the apartment, you release the money. And if something goes wrong, you don't need to go to Airbnb to take a decision about who broke the window. As a network, we decide. I won't get too deep into that. But this is the real peer-to-peer, back in the game, right? Smart contracts and panels. Panels are us deciding things. This can happen. Still gonna take time, but this can happen. Now, if you download this app today, you're gonna be able to get on the blockchain. It is going to happen faster than the internet. With the internet, we had to lay down cables, buy modems. We had to change the infrastructure. If you download this app now by scanning this or going on tripscommunity.com, you are on the blockchain 100%. And you will even earn some tokens. These Origin tokens will be on the market in a few months. You will be able to sell them for Bitcoin. Okay? So the onboarding is really, really easy. And I'm done. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you.